What's going on, guys? It's Brendan from Modern to Me, and you probably looked at the title of this video, saw that it said math class, and maybe you started crying, maybe you just threw up. I don't know what kind of painful reaction you had to seeing the words math class be right after one another, but trust me, it's actually not that bad. It's not actually math class. I'm not giving you guys a math lesson. What it actually is an actual class, like a computer programming class like we've been going over, of math methods. So what this is going to do is it's going to provide a whole bunch of different methods to help you perform different mathematical functions, you could say, so that you couldn't actually compute the square root of a number without this math class that Java provides. So this math class is kind of like the scanner. This code isn't right away readily accessible. You need to import this class yourself. So to do this, you type that same import statement, and the math class you import by typing java.lang.math. And now you have the math class all imported, ready and nice to use. It's perfect, trust me. Okay, so the first one we're going to learn about, the first method I should say, is called abs, like six-pack of abs, but that's not actually what it does. It actually computes the absolute value of a number. If you don't remember what the absolute value of a number is from math class, like your actual math class, not this video, what it is it's the distance of a number from 0. So if you have like the number 8, the absolute value of 8 is just going to be 8, because it's 8 units from 0. But if you have the number -8, the absolute value of -8 is actually +8, because it's 8 units from 0. So really all the absolute value function does is turn a negative number into a positive number, and it doesn't even touch a positive number. So let's just try this out real quick. We'll just create two ints. We'll just name one abs1 and set this one equal to 9. And if we had abs2, we'll set this one equal to -85. And let's print out system.out.print ln. We'll print out abs1, and let's just copy this, and we will print out abs2 as well. Now actually, let's not bother printing out the original values. We're just going to print out the new values. So let's change these values up real quick. So we're going to set abs1 equal to the absolute value of this number. So to do this, you type the name of the class, math, then the dot operator, and we'll, oh wow, look at that right there, abs. It knows exactly what we want. And the parameter for this method is abs1. So how most of these methods work is you put the parameter in, you put in the numbers as the parameter, and then it returns the new value. So we're putting in the number we want to get the absolute value of, and it's returning the absolute value of said number. Perfect. Okay, let's do the same for abs2. We set it equal to the math class and the absolute value of abs2. Okay, now let's print these out. You see we get 9 and 85. So 9 stays the same, and -85 turns to 85. Coolio. So now the next method we're going to look at is the square root method. So the square root method is actually, it's just called sqrt. So square root, that's pretty easy to remember, sqrt. Now, the square root function, unlike most of the other methods in the math class of Java, it can only be used with doubles. So it can only be used with numbers that are doubles. So you can't use ints or floats with this square root method. Most of the other methods have most of the number data types, like ints, floats, and doubles are mostly always compatible with these different methods. But square root got to use doubles. So let's create two doubles. We'll name one square root 1. Set this equal to, let's just go 64, and we don't need the f because we're using double values. And then we will also go square root 2, and we'll set this one equal to, let's go 67. Let's see how that turns out. So we can get two different kinds of inputs here. And now let's alter these values a little bit. Let's actually take the square root. So to do this, it's just like the abs. Go math.sqrt, and as the parameter, let's type sqrt1. And this is taking this as the parameter, and it's going to return the square root of it. And now let's do this for sqrt2. We'll do the same exact thing. And just pass in sqrt2 as the parameter. Okay, And now let's print these out. System.out.println sqrt1. Let's copy this because we're lazy, and we'll print that out there. Okay, now let's add this onto our chain of numbers. You see we get 8.0 and 8.18, lots of other numbers at the end. See, that's the difference with doubles and floats. We get a ton of extra decimal points, so that can be kind of cool. So now we know to like 15 decimal points what the square root of 67 is, so computer programming is pretty much awesome. Now let's move on to our next method. Let's do a couple more, the ones that are really important. The next method I think we should learn is max and min. So these are two different methods, but they have the same concept. So what these methods do is they actually take in two different kinds of numbers as the parameter, and then it either returns the maximum value or the minimum value. So let's just create two integers. We'll name one max, we'll set this one equal to 70, and we'll have one named min, and we will set it equal to 5. It's pretty easy to tell what this is going to do. So actually, let's just print these out right away. We're not actually altering these values, but we're going to print out math.max, and we're going to choose the integer one. And for the value of a, we'll just type in max, and then we'll also pass in min. Now what this is going to do is it's going to just take the maximum value of these two different variables that we passed in, and it's going to print out the one that works with the method. So for max, it's going to print out 70. So let's do the same thing for min. System.out.println. We'll type math and we'll do min, but let's just pass in the numbers ourselves because you can actually do that. So we'll pass in 6 and 97. And obviously we should get 6 being the second number. The first number will be 70. So let's add to our chain of numbers. We get 70 being the max and 6 being the minimum. So you can see how that works with these variables being passed in, and then also just manually inputting these values as well also works great. Okay? One more function, or method I should say. Now I promised you in the last tutorial we would learn this one, so if you're paying attention you know that this will be the round method. Now remember, if you try to typecast floats and ints to each other, it just truncates the decimal, which means it just totally throws it away like it's unimportant. And that is not very nice, and I don't approve of that. So we're going to learn this round method. So let's say we have a float decimal, and we have this equal to 8.79, and we also have float decimal 2, and this is equal to 8.4. And we'll put these F's after so our compiler doesn't freak out. And now we can round these to be int values, and they will print out the according int values. So if decimal should print out 9 and decimal 2 would print out 8. Well, it doesn't actually print out, it just converts them for you, and then you can do whatever the heck you want with them, really. But we're just going to print these out just so we can demonstrate. So if we were to print out math.round, and we have decimal, okay, and now we can also print out decimal 2, and so it should print out 9, and then it should print out 8. So all you have to do for this round function is pass in the float. You can also do double. You can pass those two different data types in to the parameter, and it's going to return an integer that is rounded either down or up depending on the decimal value. So let's run this, and we see that we get 9, and then we get 8 for the second decimal. So you can see that that's exactly what we wanted it to do. It works great, and we are in business. Okay, there is one last method that I feel is extremely important to learning for game development. Just so you know, there's also like exponent functions called POW, P-O-W. There's dear Lord, there's trigonometry functions. There are a whole bunch of other different crazy math functions, so I can encourage you just to Google Java math class and click on the Java docs and check them out. But the one that we really want to learn is the random method. Random numbers are so important to game development, but it's so important that I am not going to teach it to you for like 2 more tutorials because I just need to build up to it because it's so great. So I'll see you guys there.